Welcome to the M-1000 How-To User's Guide. The M-1000 ART, Automatic Ranging and Trajectory Rifle Scope, is based on the original principles of the revolutionary ART scope invented in the 1960s and adopted by the U.S. Army Sniper program. One of the greatest advantages of this scope is that it allows the shooter to quickly become effective at variable ranges without intensive training in ballistics and range estimation. This guide covers mounting the scope, calibrating the cam for a specific round, zeroing the M-1000, and using the multi-dial functionality. When mounting the M-1000, you will need a Picatinny rail or Weaver style base. Simply loosen the thumb screws on the side, mount the scope, and tighten. Notice the lock washers on the mounting bolt. This allows plenty of torque for finger tightening. The use of pliers or other tools may deform the mount base. For different rifles, you may use the two wing nuts provided in the package. On the bottom of the scope, there is a small axle or cross bolt at the front of the base that fits into the Picatinny rail or Weaver base. When removing and remounting the scope, ensure the axle is placed in the same Picatinny rail slot for repeatable eye relief and accuracy. Setting the cam is almost as easy as engaging a target with the M-1000. Simply refer to the M-1000 cartridge chart at the back of the M-1000's user manual, find your cartridge in the list, and get your cam setting. Then, loosen the thumb screw on the range ring and pull the range ring to the rear approximately 1/8 of an inch. Loosen the locking thumb screw lightly on the calibration ring. Find the position on the calibration ring that corresponds with your ammo's code number. Rotate the calibration ring until the small arrow on the trajectory cam is in line with the code number's position on the calibration ring. Please note that when reading the numbers on the cam, they are in the hundreds. When the arrow on the trajectory cam is pointing at the correct ammo's code number on the calibration ring, retighten the thumb screw on the calibration ring. If you've not done so already, push the two pins on the range ring firmly into the calibration ring and tighten the slotted head thumb screw on the range ring. The scope has now been calibrated for the particular cartridge that you desire to use. Follow these easy steps to take advantage of the multi-dial feature. First, prior to setting your first zero, ensure there is enough space between the elevation and windage knobs and the scope body. A desired distance is about the width of a dime. The clearance should be available with the factory preset, but in the event there is not a dime's width clearance, setting the space is very easy. Simply loosen the 3 set screws and that will disconnect the knobs from the adjusting shafts. Place your dime on the scope body and set the knob back down and evenly tighten the set screws. That's all there is to it. At this point, set your first zero. Once the first zero is set, loosen the 3 set screws again, but be careful not to turn the adjusting shaft. The initial zero will be deviated if the adjusting shaft is turned. You'll know if the adjusting shaft has turned if you hear and/or feel the knob click. If the shaft does turn, simply turn the shaft back to its zero. Now that the knob is loose, decrease the separation of the knob from the scope body to the thickness of 4 pieces of writing paper. As demonstrated here, a corner of writing paper is torn off and folded twice to use as the spacer. Rest the knob on the paper spacer and with the zero aligned with the index marks, tighten the set screws. Again, be careful not to turn the dial. Remove the paper spacer and the dial can freely move downward, at least 1/3 of a turn, but not quite more than a full turn. You can always find the original zero by dialing all the way down and then click back up to the number 0. To set additional zeros, follow the zero procedure to get the windage and elevation settings of the new zero. Then, simply move the gap in the first ring over the index mark for both windage and elevation, and your second zero is set.